Hello you guys, and welcome to the first video for, or I guess this is the second video because the first video was the introduction to our Girlfriends Around the World series. And so today's girlfriend that we're here to meet is from Sweden. And I was introduced to, her name is iHanna. She does have a blog that is so fun, that has all sorts of interesting things about her traditions and things like that, and I'm going to share those things with you in just a moment. And then she also does a YouTube video. She's a journaler. She has an awesome December daily that's, I've watched a couple of videos for her putting together her journal. And so, so I was introduced to iHanna, I guess Hannah, across the internet and on social media. She's iHanna. That's iHanna. And all this information that I'm going through, the printables and everything, are located on my blog. So I'm going to put the link below so you can select that blog post and it'll take you straight to all the printables that we're going to go over today, and her information. So basically, Christine, I was introduced to iHanna, or Hannah, from Crafty Chris over on Instagram. Many of you know her as Kristen, and her last name is Dernsky, I believe. And so it's what I find amazing is how everybody intertwines, that we all kind of, like, everybody that has the same common interests and things eventually get to know each other through social media. So I reached out to Hannah and I asked her a couple questions. As you know, a lot of my descendants on my dad's side of the family are Sweden. And so we did celebrate. I really wanted to focus this on Christmas, and because I wanted to incorporate some of those traditions that into my Christmas that I have now. Now, with the Christmas that we had growing up, it was basically celebrating on Christmas Eve, and then with my mom, we'd had Christmas Day where Santa Claus came. So, but my dad always grew up celebrating Christmas on Christmas Eve. And we always had like a big dinner, and it was like cousins and aunts and uncles. Oh, it was so much fun. And I think I've mentioned, if you watched videos before, I've really, that was one of the hardest things about adulthood for me, was trying to keep that same tradition, because I thought, hey, it's Christmas Eve. We've got to do something. We've got to have something. We've got to have food. We've got to have fun. We've got to have all these things. But when you come, it's like, if you don't have family close by, or everybody kind of does their own thing, it was very, very difficult for me to adjust to. So, but anyway, let's jump into Sweden. So what you'll find on the blog are going to be these printables. And this one is just like some fun facts. If you follow me on Instagram, I did make the Swedish saffron buns, which I kind of messed up a little bit on but it wasn't messing up, meaning I put all the eggs in the batter instead of keeping one to brush the dough before I baked it. So I don't call that majorly messing up, but I did make them. I was pretty proud of myself for putting that together. And then also this printable, which is Sweden at Christmas, and it just kind of talks about some things that I learned from Hannah, and I'm going to show you, talk about that in just a moment. So the first thing is I went ahead and have my journal here. I just put some color here on the background because I wanted some, just so I wasn't working necessarily on white paper. I think what I will do is come back in here and do an intro page, but we'll do that in another video. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn to my first page. So one of the things that she talked about in her one of my first questions was about Christmas Eve, and they do a Smorgan Board, which is, which actually this year was the first time I've really heard that term, which is, I think, because I know here, I've been to parties that have them, and they're very popular, and I think they're beautiful with all the goodies on them and everything like that. And so she kind of told me a few things that they have. So like on Christmas Eve, and I did some really rough doodles over here what I plan to do is I'm going to do my own Smorgan Board Christmas on Christmas Eve, but we're doing like a dinner, but I'm going to kind of display it in a way where there's going to be little snacks and things like that. Because our tradition, which we just started it last year, because it's just the four of us, my daughter, my son, my husband, and myself, we eat Christmas Eve, and then we get up Christmas morning, have a big breakfast after we do all the Christmas and everything, and then by that time we're so full, and then I used to cook another meal, and if you would see pictures of me, I look literally exhausted at the end of it. And so last year we started and we didn't want to eat all the food, and we walked around, we were miserable. But, right, that's what you do. You make a big dinner. So last year we made a big dinner on Christmas Eve, and then we had our big breakfast, and then it was just a free-for-all where you could snack because the refrigerator is going to be full of leftovers. So, but she talks about having a Smorgan Board, and that is, in Sweden, it can be consisted of pickled herring in different jars, egg halves, which we kind of talked, I'm going to do deviled eggs because it's something, it doesn't really, we're doing fajitas, you guys. So I'm mixing some Mexican culture in with my Swedish culture. And she talks about having caviar on top, salmon with sour cream. They do a lot of the same traditions with Easter, she explained. And then I'm going to actually kind of post her information because she puts a lot of wording in there that I'm not going to even attempt because I would just chop it up, and I don't want to do the misjustice of the Swedish language. So yeah, so that's part of that. And then she said for the main course, they do cooked potatoes, ribs, meatballs, which I am going to do meatballs. I'm going to try to make Swedish meatballs that evening. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm going to be posting about that. And a fish dish called Jansen's Frestelici. I'm horrible at that. But then, ham, sliced ham, she says just a regular pig that is sliced up. I'm thinking that's probably ham. But definitely check out, and this is what's so cool about Hannah, she gave me tons of links to go check out about different things. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to save this particular cutout because I made these printables for you guys to actually add them to your journal. So I'm going to go in and cut the little tag. And I left the little tag plate blank because I use my little punch that I picked up in Warrington, and I'll show you guys in just a moment. So, but if you have a different way of wanting, I thought it would be nice to be able to come in here and, put a tag over here that we have gone to Sweden. So I am just, if you wanted to punch it out, I have this particular punch here that does that punch where you can easily just, if you wanted to do that. This is just so you have a template to use if you wanted to do a different color, but I'll show you exactly what I am going to do. So actually, typically, I like to have it folded in half. So I would take this. Oh, you know what I should do? Let me look for something really quick here. I feel like with Sweden, I use a lot of blue because I guess it's the color of their flag. It just that's what kind of draws me to them. But I'm actually going to take this and cut it, and I would do it with the punch, but since I'm showing you guys how I do, if you don't have the punch, I'm just going to use this as a template, and that way I have a double-sided tab for my journal. So I'm just going to go in here. And what I really, and that's one of the things this project, I really encourage you guys, if you've been to Sweden, oh my goodness, how awesome is that? See, this is that little punch that I bought in Warrington. I think I showed you guys at a show and tell. I'll show you real quick. It's this little, label maker. I finally got it to work. I was getting quite frustrated with it earlier today. I hadn't used it yet. And I use these as kids all the time because my dad had one. But, oh my goodness, but it was driving me insane that I could not get it to work. Get it loaded because I wanted to change out my, to blue because, I don't know, blue reminds me of Sweden. So, but I encourage you to do some research yourself and, tell me I spelled that right. Okay. All of a sudden it doesn't look right. And my frustration, I might have misspelled it because I was just very, and the dog was barking. Okay. Enough about that. But I'm just going to come in here and glue it in here and create my little tab for us going to Sweden. But I encourage you, you know, to do some research to, you know, if you've been, talk about your trip, do a little insert journaling about it, maybe include a photo. That's always would be fun. So I'm just going to put that in there. And then I'm going to come in here and add some washi to the end here, to my, just to secure that in place and just to kind of add some stability to my journal pages. Okay, so we've got that down. And then, like I said, for what I plan to do is once I do my like Smorgan Board, I'm gonna put my picture, and then I'm gonna take a picture of our beautiful table when we got it all set up and put it in here. So so I also talked with her about doing some crafting projects, and you guys, oh my goodness. If I could explain this. Okay, this is what I made. They're very popular. They're Scandinavian Hearts or Danish Hearts. And I'm going to actually have a printable for you guys. And this I printed offline, and I'm going to give the person the credit. It's called www.creativeheart.com. And you can use this as a cutout. And I thought I would go ahead and make one online with you guys until I put it together. And I am horrible at following directions, and like, don't ask me to do any kind of origami. Let me just put that out there. So I did make this. You're supposed to make a little basket out of it. I don't know, my basket does not want to open. So, but isn't it beautiful? I can say at least I made it, right? So I thought I would include that in my journal. Oh, see right here. So, okay. So before we get into documenting that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out. Now, what I didn't mark it on here, but in your packet, if you ordered a Girlfriends Around the World, I do have a passport in there, passport book, and I thought we could use this circle here as to put into your passport. If you don't have a passport, or you're opting out of getting the kit, which is perfectly fine, I say you add this to your journal. And this, you don't have to create your own standalone journal. This could be something that you put in your everyday journal that you use, or something like that. It doesn't have to be necessarily a total standalone project. So I'm going to put Sweden up there. And then I'm going to add my fun facts. So I did a fun fact sheet here. Oops. And it talks about just some different basic information. And again, I got this offline. And I am going to share the site that I got that from, because I definitely want to give credit to the person who did all the work and you know, gave that information out to the public. And that way I can definitely, because she has actually like 17 fun facts, and I just picked the few that I was interested in. So this one says, fun fact, so the capital is Stockholm. The population is 10.3 million. More than half of Sweden is forest, which I find fascinating because I bet it's beautiful. And then there's a Swedish soda called Jolmust. Maybe that J is silent, almost, I don't know. Appears on the shelves of stores during Christmas and Easter. They kind of described it kind of like a root beer. And so, yeah, so I thought that was kind of fun information to have. Okay, I'm just looking in. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here, and actually I'm going to run some more washi down the side here. I don't know why I love this. This is one of my favorite little washies, these little bears and foxes and stuff. And when I thought about, oh, you know, with them saying that head's half forest, I was like, I bet that there's a lot of little animals over there. So, okay. And I am just trying to come up with like a little background to use. Just not, so it's not just white on white. And these are the little journal cards that go into, the, maybe I'll just do that, that were in the kit as well. But I'm just looking at, oh, this is pretty. Let's see, where are we at here? Oh, okay. That's the Arctic, that's Greenland, so that's really up on the very tip top. There's Alaska. Okay. So I think I might just put that here. Just so it gives it some background. Whoops. And then I'll put my fun facts. Now on these, again, do some research. If there's something that you guys find that's interesting, add it to your information. I did find it also very interesting. Oh, so, and then the last fun fact that I posted was, that I wrote about was, Swedish employees take a break called fikas twice a day for coffee, cake, and chat. And I know, like, here in the States, they're required, I think it's government law, to, we have to take breaks. But, like, where we work, I mean, unless... we're not like, I guess it's just not like, oh, it's, okay, it's like at 10 o'clock, 10 to 10:15, you take a break. And then at 10:15, no, at 3 to 3:15, you take a break. I've never taken breaks that I know of, but then I'm not like confined to my chair the whole time either. So, I don't know, it's just really different, I think, but I know at the same time that there's days when you're so busy, I don't have time to take a break. I don't want to take a break because I'm so busy, you know, and I'm trying to get things done. But in Sweden, if you don't take the break, it's considered very rude. And so it's kind of frowned upon, because I think they use it as a time to, which I didn't ask Hannah about that, but that's kind of an interesting, you know, what would be interesting is, you know, why is it that they were saying that Swedish, I also read on this, that Swedish employees are it was like the third happiest employees in the world or something like that. So I'm just kind of curious, like, you know, I don't know, that's interesting, because when I read about like the economic and stuff like that, they're very great at what they have and do. And sometimes I feel like in the States, I know where I'm at, and I'm sure, and I'm in Texas, so it's not like New York City, but people can run themselves ragged. I mean, oh, I forgot about my map washi. I mean, I know sometimes I feel like I'm a workaholic, and not necessarily with my day job, but I know with this business, like with creativeness and stuff like that, it's 24/7, you know. It's like I dream about it, I think about it, but it's a passion. It's not just, you know, a job either. So I'm just kind of curious. That would be kind of an interesting question to ask her, and I may reach back out to her and ask her, you know, so tell me about this. What exactly, I mean, why would it be rude? I know that like in Mexico, they have siestas as well. I mean, it's like, which I always thought we ought to have siestas. We need nap times, okay? I know I know nap time can be it can like really help the old brain when you've been working. So so yeah, so that's kind of an interesting, I love that. I want to make memories all over the world. That is so true. So, oops, getting glue everywhere. Okay. So the good news is, and I'm going to be reading back over your guys' comments. I'm sorry, like I said, it was kind of a weird time to launch this project because right around Christmas, it's like everybody is so busy. So, okay. So that, you know what would be fun, which I don't have my pictures in here. I may include a picture of myself there. And just kind of, you know what I'm going to do? See, this is a grow as it goes project. So I think what I'm going to do is include a picture, and I'm going to talk about my experiences with Sweden. What makes me want to, we're going to save this out. What is my interest? What would I want to do? Talking about like even Christmas this year and things like that. So, okay, so going on to, oh, and another thing that iHanna talked about, she sells journals as well, and so that's one of her things that she does. When I asked her about like crafting project, like what do you guys do, and she said, well, we make I do make journals. And so this is when we talked about the Danish hearts. And then also that she mentioned talking about, and I looked at it and I was going to make it, but I never did get the supplies because I knew I was going to make this heart that wasn't going to be challenging at all. Boy, was I wrong. I know. And it probably is not challenging to you guys, and it's just, I have a hard time. I don't. It's always been like that. It's, maybe I don't have the patience or I don't have the brain to do it. I don't really know. But I did get this one, which I'm pretty darn proud of, and I didn't have any red paper. So, so yeah, so I'm going to put a pretty background on here. I wish I had, let's see. Here we go. This is pretty. I'm going to put, I don't like that my paper bled through, so I'm going to put this background. I'm glad I found some red and white, because also red and white kind of reminds me of Sweden, I guess because of like gnomes and things like that. And the mushrooms, and that's also been like an intriguing idea. Oops. That is missing. It's okay. We'll work with it, right? That's what us crafters do. So I'm going to put this in here. I'm just guessing. I don't know where that line... Pretty darn close, you guys. So I don't know where that ends, but that is pretty darn close. My trash can's on the other side of the room, so I can't get to it, but that's okay. Then I'll just come in here and trim this out. Okay, so on this, and again, I pulled this forest tape because it just reminded me of Sweden because of the forest, and also just with all these cute little animals. It's kind of Christmassy too, I think. Cut that off. Okay. So the next one, we are going to just put my little crafty project here with what about? I don't mind if it sticks out either, because really you're supposed to hang these like on trees or give out treats or things like that. But mine is challenged. Don't look at the back. Mine was challenged. I think if someone sat down and showed me, it would be, that's me. That's what it is. I'm a visual person. I have a hard time following instructions. Comprehension. Maybe that's what it is. We were talking about that the other day, that my study habits are just, now unless something really interests me, my study habits always were bad, because I was the type that I would read it, but my brain would not like take the information and remember it. And it was like, why? I sat there and read all of that, and then I sit down to the test or whatever, and it's like I can't remember a darn thing. This was back in my grade school times, or, you know, high schools and things like that. So what I'll probably do is like write a little tidbit about my challenge with the journal, with the Danish heart. Okay, now let's see here. The big thing that was most fun was and then speaking of I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but I do want to include my little gnome, because he is just a little doodle gnome that I made. He is, I think I mentioned that in one of the videos, that it's the Tomty gnome. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But they basically were like, they would hide, not hide, but they would live underneath the porches and in barns and things like that, and like be protector of the family, which I love. It's so sweet. So yeah, so I think that's kind of neat. And there's also the Nisse, Nisse. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. They're kind of like they're not gnomes, but they're also part of the Swedish culture. Okay, so moving down into more information that I was really interested in too, was the celebrating St Lucia's Day. And she said that was like a precursor to Christmas. It kind of like set the tone for Christmas. And I have made bread before, but gosh, it was years ago. I think my daughter was really, really little. And basically, St. Lucia's Day is a tradition. If you can read on it, it's very interesting. It's basically eating and spending time together and lighting candles, because she was it's done on December the 13th, and I'm just kind of reading over the light of darkness. Christmas songs and wishing everyone a good time in the very dark outside. She comes with light in her hair. And what I read online about her, I kind of did a little cute little St. Lucia here, is she was, during the time of the persecutions of Christians in Roman times, she went and put light in her hair, candles in her hair, and delivered food to people in hiding. And so in the Roman church, they have actually given her sainthood because she was a martyr. She was, and this is really, by the way, you guys, I don't know if I want to, it's like I'm doing something fun, but this is such a horrible thing. But it, you know, it's part of history and it's reality. But she was burned at the stake, and she didn't die. It was like she was being protected, and anyway, they ended up like eventually killing her, and I won't go into gory details about how that was done, but definitely read about it if you're interested. But so yeah, I just find this very an amazing story. And she also, so what the tradition is, and I got that really interesting book, which I don't have it in here, but I'll mention it on my blog. They basically, they make cookies, which are these gingerbread cookies, which I have a little talk about me buying those cookies at Rural Marketplace here in the States, here in Texas. And then you make the bread, and then the oldest daughter puts lights in her hair, and when it's still dark outside, and delivers it to her dad. And so we didn't do all that, of course, but we did we did do the, we did make the bread, and we did buy the cookies and light the candles, and so I'm going to have that also up on available to view as well. So, so let me find the picture that I printed out. I just had it here of my, I'm going to include this because this is a recipe that's part of that printable, but I also did like a, oh, there it is. I printed out this, picture, so I thought I would include that in here, and then I would do a description about. Now, I've already have this in my regular creative journal, but I don't have it in my new Girlfriends Around the World journal. So, so yeah. Oh, I got this new printer, you guys. I got one of you guys. I got the Sepia. Oh my gosh, I am loving the quality of these. I started using it last night, and it's like when you live out like I live, well, anybody, you know, it's like a trip to go get your pictures, and I usually am like wanting it right then and there, but look at the quality. I'm really impressed with this printing machine. So yeah, so we did that. I light the candles. Kristen sent me this adorable little wreath. She said for my St Lucia's Day, which I thought was so sweet. So yeah, so I'm going to kind of talk about it here. And then my last and final little tidbit I might put in, oh, I have to do my Smorgan Board when Christmas. I think I'm going to wait to put some of this in my book after we do Christmas Eve, but I am going to put this little recipe in here. And I included a photo on the printable that you guys can get off the blog of the picture I just posted in here, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I did if you're looking at this later on. So yeah, so I'm just going to actually have it, even though it's going to be in the middle, I'm going to have to definitely add some color to this background here, because, you know, we've got to have some color. But I wasn't sure how many pages, and, you know, like I said, we are all just kind of having fun and winging it and seeing where we go. So let's see what we have. I'm going to have some markers here. Okay. So again, when I do my my Swedish meatballs, I pulled a recipe offline to see about that. And I'm just going to come in here and do some coloring. And again, we'll be filling these pages up as we go through the rest of the Christmas season, which, oh my goodness, you guys, we are in the week of Christmas. It is on. The countdown is definitely on. You know what? I'm going to put the little tree in here. You could do more fussy cutting than me. I kind of am a little bit on the, let's get it on paper. But since I found out my sketch pad was too big for my scanner, so I know that next time when I'm doing my sketching and stuff for you guys on these, I'm going to have to like bring it in a little bit or use a different sketch pad, because I had to really work on getting that squished in there. Okay. Oh, and then, let's see this. Oh, I'm going to put this candle here. Let's see. I'll put it on this page. might actually add, I wonder if I have some yellow washi in here. Oh, look, there's a fox. Definitely have to, oh, I didn't even realize all this was in here. Okay. This is more Christmas washi I haven't been using. I'm going to put that on my table. I'm just reinforcing these center lines here. I like to do that in my journals, and plus it kind of adds a little bit more color in here. But I'm going to put this little candle in here. Alright, you guys, so we have taken our little trip to Sweden. I'm going to be continuously staying here for a little bit longer through the Christmas season and doing my Christmas Eve and doing some of my more activities. But I will, in our next little trip that we have, I will show you my pages, and we will be going on visiting another girlfriend in another country. And I just want to tell Hannah, thank you so much. You don't know how much that having this information helped, and really getting to talk with you, so to speak. It was really, really nice, and I appreciate you spending time and taking time out of your busy schedule to answer questions and be part of, actually be the first girlfriends around the world. So alright, and so let's get out our passports again. If you don't have a passport, I mean, this is a pretend passport, you guys. It's not getting out my passport, which I don't have, which we will be getting one eventually. But I'm going to get out my little passport that we have, and we're going to stamp that we've been to Sweden. And I think what I'm going to do is put in my girlfriends around the world information here. And again, I'm going to do that. We'll be doing an entry page in our journal. I'm going to stamp it right here. We went to Sweden, and what is the day today? It is the 19th, so let's mark that we went to Sweden on December 19th, 2021. Alright, you guys, well, I hope y'all had fun visiting Sweden too, and can't wait to see what you guys did, and be sure to share it on social media or here and let me know. I would love to see your journals, and go give Hannah a follow, and I'm sure she would be more than happy to answer some questions that you might have, or there's a plethora of information on, of course, Google. So alright, you guys, y'all have a super sparkly day, and we will see you on our next trip. Bye!